Thank you all for being here this evening. I know that Italy right now might be on your news for some other topics, but we also thought that it would be nice to hear directly from somebody living here right now, precisely in Milan, and also keep thinking and planning your future, because even though it's a difficult moment, we're not stopping and we want to keep helping you plan for your future career, hopefully with us. So I would like also maybe to mention from the very beginning some aspects of the virus. You might have that over your head, and we're facing the reality day by day. It is definitely sad what's happening here. Numbers are totally dramatic, but luckily in the past few days we've seen hopefully the peak, and now the contagion is slowing down little by little. So Italy was very badly affected, but also because we were among the first to be affected in Europe, hopefully we will be the first to get out of this emergency and ready to welcome you with open arms in September. From the point of view of the university, what we tried to do was try to, understand the place in which the students were, and understanding that right now planning your future and thinking of confirming for Cattolica could be difficult. We tried to change our refund policy straight from the beginning. So in case you decided to apply, got admitted, and then for any reasons you were not able to travel to Italy in September or in January, we will grant you a full refund. And then you can always decide to wait for better times, because we're sure they will come. So without further ado, of course, if there's any further questions at the end, I'm happy to reply, because I know there's a lot of misinformation and there's a lot of maybe controversial information as well. But let's try maybe to travel with our minds, since right now, at least here, we're all blocked in our home. So I want you for a second to imagine to go on a plane and come over to our beautiful country to enjoy the sun, the food, the language. So we share many of these things, Italy and Brazil. And let's try talking about a little bit about the higher education system in Italy. So if we're here tonight, it's because you're thinking about coming to Italy, to Europe, or at least get out of your reality for a second. So I know from talking to students that very often you have some myths about what it means to study abroad, what it means to study in Italy. So many students ask me, do I need to know Italian? Well, I think it's always better to pick up a little bit. Portuguese and Italian are not that different. I can't speak Portuguese, but hopefully one day I will be able to, but I do understand pretty well. So I think that as a population, Brazilian guys are very smart, and they're very quick in learning, not just the language, but also the culture, and really make the most of it. So when you study with Cattolica, if you study in English, you don't need to know the language, but you most definitely, you're welcome to learn it. Many students think that studying abroad, studying in Italy especially, is very expensive, as other destinations as the UK or the US, which I know are very popular, at least they used to be until recent times. Sometimes actually that is not the case. Sometimes it's even cheaper to study abroad than to study in one of the best universities in your own country. That's because Italy has a long tradition of very strong education. Cattolica is a private university, therefore has tuition fees, but at the same time, we try really to support every student. So any student who meets merit or financial requirements can actually obtain a scholarship. And that allows you to study at one of the best universities in Italy for very little money. Then many students sometimes ask us if it is penalizing them, the fact of not having a European passport. Now, I know that many of you might have actually an Italian or a Portuguese or a Spanish passport. That's actually not true, that you're penalized if you don't. So if you don't, we will help you all the steps of the way with the visa support. And even once you get in Milan, we will support you with all the bureaucracy dealing with the permit to stay and every little thing you may need. On the other hand, if you do have an European passport, that's definitely an advantage because you can avoid all these bureaucratic matters. But if you cannot, don't worry, you'll find somebody to help you with that. In terms of tuition fees, it doesn't matter what your passport says. What matters is where you live. So because you live in Brazil, I would suppose, you will pay tuition fees as non-European residents. And you will see that Cattolica is being very generous towards non-European students, trying to support you guys with plenty of scholarships. Last but not least, it is true that Italy does not have a unique system of application, neither a unified system in terms of cost. So it's not like in the States where you have the common application or in the UK where you have UCAS. So if you want to apply to different Italian universities, you will have to talk to every single one of them because all of us, we work differently. So my personal suggestion when choosing a university in Italy, make sure you get in touch, make sure you ask questions. So that's our job, is to help you answer your questions. But yeah, maybe test us a little bit. How long does it take us to reply? Do we actually speak good English? Are we able to understand your peculiar situation as an international student? These are all very important elements. And well, one very important aspect, location does make a difference. So when you consider where to study, try to imagine yourself in that particular city. If you have been in Italy already, you may know a little bit more about it. If your family comes from Italy, they might have talked to you about it. And if you haven't been yet, maybe you've seen Italy in movies or you've dreamt about it. So that is totally something we stress about. So it's important where you study. I think I would like to run a poll now before starting with the presentation. So to understand a little bit about you guys. So I see already that most of you want to study at postgraduate level. Perfect. Thank you so much for your feedback. I see that some of you are thinking about September 2020, but the majority maybe later. And then, so this is still the two questions I had in mind. So I will try to focus my presentation considering what the audience is asking for. And if there's anything I'm not considering, please then ask us in the Q&A and we'll tackle that at the end of the presentation. So another thing that I would like for you to think about, because yeah, I'm talking to you guys and unfortunately this cannot be a dialogue, but I definitely want you there with your brain active, is when you choose a destination, so you're choosing Italy, try to understand what could you actually bring to the country, because you know that Italy and Brazil have many economic and diplomatic relations, but what could you bring back to your country? So Italy is a big food exporter. I think you all know about our wine, our cheese, our pasta and pizza. I hope I'm not making you too hungry, because for you it's almost dinner time there. But these are some important markets and sectors where you could find yourself to be unique as an employer, as an employee, once you come back. And also the contribution you can bring to Italy. So the Brazilian community is growing little by little, maybe because I'm seeing way more of you students right now. So I pick up people speaking on the street, and I know that many more tourists are coming. So the relationship between the two countries is definitely strengthening a lot. Now I would like to continue with a little bit of a geography class, let's say so. Usually, if we were face-to-face, I would be able to ask you guys to point out on the map the different cities. Unfortunately, I cannot do that, but I can definitely guide you through the exploration of our country. So Italy, you see it here on the right-hand corner, and you also see our campuses. So Cattolica is a private university. We were founded around 100 years ago, actually Next year will be our 100th birthday. And we were born in Milan, so my city where I'm currently speaking you from, and it's number 1. So the campus is of immense artistic and historical value, because it used to be a monastery, and then it was reused for different purposes. At a certain point, it was a hospital, and then in 1920, it became one of the main Italian universities. Actually, the aim of the university was to be accessible to everybody. And so that's why we started with political science, then with economics, and little by little we grew, and we moved away from Milan because we wanted to be close to the territory. And that's also why every campus has a specific focus. So if you know Italy, you know that the financial and economic capital of the country is Milan. So that's where you can expect to study subjects related to economics, business, management, finance, international relations, and so forth and so on. And number 2 and 3, you see our productive heart of the country. So at number 2, you find Cremona and Piacenza, 2 beautiful cities right in the food valley. So that's where we teach subjects such as agriculture and food economics, food processing, or food production management. So here again, as you see, you hear the word food, you hear the word agriculture, but it's always complemented by the word management, economics. That's why we're trying, together with the companies working in that area, to form professionals able to deal in an area that is fundamental for us, because food production and exportation makes up to 10% of our GDP. But at the same time, yes, we need to also complement this knowledge with managerial and economical skills. So that's definitely the job of the future. Right now, in a situation of not panic, but definitely emergency, one thing that everybody wants is learn how to cook, go for food shopping. So that's one of our major comforts. So you can understand it, even in the most difficult times, at a time of a crisis, the food sector is always a rather safe sector. Number 3 is Brescia. Maybe some of you may know it. It's another beautiful city, a little bit of a smaller Milan, very industrial, very productive, but still wonderful, surrounded by lakes and mountains. And there we have many Italian taught programs. So if you're considering of studying in Italy, definitely Milan and Cremona and Piacenza may be your destinations of choice. Last but not least, the eternal city, the beautiful Rome, our political capital. We may not talk about it so much tonight about it, but in Rome is where we teach our medicine and surgery program. I know it's a very popular program for Brazilian people. And why do we teach medicine and surgery in Rome? That's because we have the most important facility to do so, which is a hospital. Not any hospital, but the second largest in Italy, and the hospital of the capital city. So you can imagine the Pope, the government, if they need something, hopefully they don't, but if they do, that's where they go. So it means excellence in terms of academic quality. As a matter of fact, Rome and our hospital are giving a big contribution to dealing with the coronavirus crisis right now. And some of our professors, like Professor Cauda or Professor Richeldi, who are working and teaching our students, are on the news every single day because they are actually a pneumologist and an expert in infectious diseases. So that's just to give you an idea of the standard of the university. So moving on, just to sum up a little bit, I showed you we have 5 campuses, actually 4 locations, 12 schools. We teach both at undergrad and at grad level, and we teach both in English and in Italian. All the programs offered in English are offered in Italian as well, but definitely being Italian, we have many more programs offered in Italian. So if something is not available in English, but you speak a little bit of Italian or you would like to learn, just ask me because I would be able maybe to offer you something. We are a big university, so we're private. We're the largest private in Italy and in Europe, and we have around 40,000 students. As they are divided among different campuses and among different schools, you will never feel the impression of being in a crowd. Definitely not. But being a big university allows us to be organized, present on the territory, and allows us also to invest in initiatives such as supporting international students. We have plenty of international connections, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to talk to you more about it towards the end of the presentation. So going a little bit more into where we are, maybe some of you has been to Milan. If not, I would totally recommend to come because it's a wonderful city. So I was born here. At the beginning, a few years ago, I wouldn't have really liked it. It was gray, quite boring. But it's true that since 2015, the city has changed incredibly. That's because we hosted an international exhibition called the Expo. And Milan since then has changed and developed and improved. And as a matter of fact, it has no comparison to other Italian cities or even to some of the European capitals not being a capital. So what is important for you guys to know is that it is actually the financial and commercial center of Italy. So it means for you a lot of job opportunities, many foreign investors. So the profile of a Brazilian person who came to study to Italy, so definitely entrepreneurial in character, in personality, speaking Brazilian, Portuguese, Italian, English, will be definitely very appealing as a profile to work in an international company. Lombardy, our region, generates about 24% of the country GDP. So it is definitely a very wealthy, very rich city, and was ranked among one of the best cities where to study at. Hopefully it will keep being so. Right now it's impressive to see how quiet it got because everybody's being very respectful of the quarantine. But yeah, hopefully we will get back on our feet very soon and already back in our bus, which is really characteristics for the Milanese people. Piacenza and Cremona, which were the other two cities right in the heart of the Food Valley, they are instead incredibly strong in terms of production of agribusiness, logistics, machinery, metallurgy, which means that for you, there's a lot of opportunities as well to enjoy the countryside because it's not really big cities, but it's more quiet, but at the same time, profit from the excellent connections that the cities and the university offer to you guys. So we already spoke a little bit about the country, we already spoke a little bit about the cities, but why should you choose Cattolica as a university? So for sure, location matters, but in my opinion, having been a student studying abroad in myself, I would say try to notice some elements that could help you make a very good and informative decision. Of course, we stand from the perspective that there's not such a thing as the perfect solution or the perfect fit. You have to feel it. And how can we help you with that? I would say, consider that in Italy, although we have a long tradition of culture and art and knowledge, the state right now is not investing a lot, unfortunately, in public education. So being a private institution right now allows us to be a little bit closer to the students. We shut down 3 weeks ago and we had to pass all our classes online. In 3 days, Cattolica was running. So we were investing and converting our efforts and the professors' efforts in order to get closer to the students wherever they were in the world. So being private from that point of view is a guarantee of solidity, tradition, and being well established definitely help us. We have tailored services for you. So being international makes you special, it makes you different, and you need dedicated attention and services. So you can rest assured that with Cattolica, you will find that. From the very beginning, from any questions you may have, I will be your contact person. So you will have the opportunity to write me emails, ask me whatever you You need to know, Skype with your mom and dad if you need them to also be on board of your decision. We're happy to do so until the very moment you arrive and further, of course, in your career. Then something that I do not necessarily always look at, but some of you may consider important, are rankings. So Cattolica is also putting a lot of effort in that. We were ranked among the first 200 universities worldwide, and then we do even better so divided by subjects. If you look at the QS rankings from 2019 and 20, one that in my opinion is very important for you guys looking at a postgrad program. So you want to get better jobs, you want to get better career opportunities. The employability ranking scores Cattolica in the first place for the relations we have with the employer in Italy. So that's definitely something that you could take into consideration. You study to get a better job. Where does Cattolica allow me to get? One thing that also sets us apart from other private institutions is that by being Catholic, we really value the individual. So we don't consider you to be a number. We don't consider you to be any student. We really care for your whole persona. So that's why also when we try to evaluate your profile, we do read your motivation letter and we ask you to pour your heart into that. So as I was saying, definitely the work, the job connections, the job market is very important for you. So we help you find internships. We have more than 2,000 partners already in our database, but we're very happy to establish new ones. Our international students are very proactive in proposing sometimes partnerships with Brazilian companies or with Chinese companies, Australian companies, and we're always welcoming these new inputs. Every year we have more than 6,900 internships and we help you. We have 2 dedicated offices, and if you choose a 1-year specializing master, you will also find further support in that. Every year we have endless activities in helping you write your CV, preparing you for an interview. We have career days on campus, and the logos you find here are very well-renowned brands in Italy. I believe most of them also in Brazil, and they come every year trying to scout talent among our students. So if you study to get a better job, definitely Cattolica can help you with that. Of course, we want you to be proactive, but it's also our job to create opportunities for you. Another thing that you can use to tell the validity and the solidity of an institution is try to understand who started at Cattolica and what are they doing right now. So unfortunately, because most of our Brazilian students right now are still in Italy and it's a bit late here right now, it's already past 11. I couldn't have any of them tonight joining us, but if you want to talk to some of them, I would be happy to arrange a connection. But here you find people coming from every single area. You will find politicians. You may know Romano Prodi, who was president of the European Commission. We have young entrepreneurs. So Rocco and Christine, they were actually listed in Forbes for a very rich, under 30 years old entrepreneurs. We have lawyers, international lawyers. We have sports people, CEOs in the world of luxury. And one of our students was Enrico Mattei, the founder of Eni. So even though he did not study engineering, because Cattolica does not offer engineering, he studied economics. But being a multidisciplinary university allowed him to pick a little bit of good from every single school. So every day on campus, you will find a conference about psychology or about journalism, and that definitely enriches your experience beyond what you study in class. So let me talk to you now a little bit about the higher education system in Italy, because it is different from what you guys have in Brazil. I know that some aspects are changing in Brazil right now as well. You used to have 11 years of education before accessing university. And I know that as of now, most states are bringing it up to 12 years. So in Italy, we study even more before going to uni. We study 13 years. So that's quite a lot. But we accept 12 years. So if you studied 12 years of high school, then you can access a bachelor degree. In Italy, most of our bachelor degrees have a duration of 3 years. So economics and management, international relations, they will last for 3 years. The only exceptions that we offer in English as of now are medicine and surgery, which is 6 years, and law in Italian is 5 years. After the bachelor, it is very common in Italy to continue with a graduate study. And then I will show you that we have 2 types. There's no better or worse, but it's important to understand the main differences between them in order that you can choose what best fits your career perspectives. So just a brief excursus on what we offer, because I saw from the polls that most of you are interested in graduate courses. So in English, as of now, we offer communication management. It has been extremely popular, so we're almost closing applications for this program. It's 3 years, as I was mentioning before, and it's in Milan. We offer economics and management, also very popular, also 3 years and in Milan. International relations and global affairs, very interesting subject. From my knowledge, Brazilian students are often very fascinated by political science and related subjects. So if you have questions specifically on this, just let me know, because that's exactly what I studied as well at Cattolica. So I'm happy to give you some insights about the professors and so on. We also offer psychology in English as an undergraduate degree. In order to become a therapist in Italy, you need to do 3 plus 2, and then there is a further specialization. So this will be the first building block of your future career. This is also offered in Milan. Last but not least, we have food production management, and it is in Piacenza, in the heart of the Food Valley, of course. And this is a very interesting program because it mixes and matches not just science and biology, but as I was saying before, a lot of law, economics, management in order to make you a rounded professional. We also offer medicine and surgery, very popular among Brazilian students. It has a duration of 6 years. As I was saying before, it is offered in Rome, where we have our own hospital. So moving on to the graduate programs. As I was saying before, there's a major difference among the 2 different programs that we offer. So in Italy, the master degree, so what we call laurea magistrale, it has a duration of 2 years. And it usually gives us access to a PhD. So if you're thinking of an academic career, definitely take on the 2-year program. It awards you with 120 ECTS, which is a European way to count credits. And it is offering you an advanced training in something very specialized. That it's why it is important to come from a similar background. So if you studied, let's say, languages, you will continue with languages. I saw somebody here talking about journalism. In that case, in Italy, you usually study journalism under the School of Literature or Humanities. So to say, if you study political science, you will continue with that. So there needs to be a continuity. If instead you decide to change, sorry, here the title is wrong, it's actually a 1-year specializing master. It is way more hands-on. So you won't have as many theoretical classes, you will have more case studies and professionals coming to class, assigning you workshops and teamworks that you can carry out with your teammate. And it is the focus is to develop professional competencies. So it will also be a little bit more focused. The credits are not 120, are 60, and that's why it does not allow direct access. Correct, this is 1 year, Guilherme. We're talking about the 1 year. And yes, it's a 1 year, so it passes very fast. If you're thinking of changing a little bit the career, that could be a very good opportunity for you. So if you studied economics or management and you want to focus only on marketing or corporate communication or luxury goods management, this would be absolutely perfect. At the end, there's usually not a thesis, but we offer you the opportunity of doing an internship or a project work that allows you already to get a little bit more with your hands into the professional world, and we will help you step by step. So just to give you an idea of what are the programs we offer, because I've seen many questions about that, so you can get an idea of what you could actually study with us. At the 2-year level, we have banking and finance. Consider that Cattolica is 2 minutes away from the stock exchange walking. So there's plenty of connections, plenty of our professors working really hand by hand with professionals from there. We have economics, a little bit more theoretical, a little bit more based on analysis, if you're interested in dealing with these aspects of mathematical economics. We have management, which is actually international management and is one of our flagship programs. I know the title can be a little bit unappealing because you say, okay, management, but actually it declines into 5 different specializations. So you can decide to focus on consultory enterprises, small and medium businesses, international companies, healthcare organization, and also luxury management. So you can specialize under the management course, and you will be able to work closely with a group of 19 other students, a dedicated professor, and then you will also have the opportunity to carry out an internship or a project work with some of the major companies, not only Italian, but also internationally. We also offer, being in Italy, of course, we also offer the opportunity to study arts and arts management. Also related in the world of humanities, we have a very peculiar and very interesting program in the arts and industry of narration. This is about screenwriting, scripts for television and cinema. If you haven't watched any Italian movies, I would recommend you do so. So you get into the mood a little bit. Always dealing with management instead, we have actuarial sciences, which is a profession that it's getting more and more importance. We have data analytics, of course, innovation and technology. This is a little bit more to do with entrepreneurship and startups. Consider that Milano is one of the major cities in Italy for young entrepreneurs to develop their business. We also offer then in Cremona, as you can see, all the subjects related to agriculture and food economics, food processing, global business management. As I was saying to you before, Piacenza is very strong from the point of view of logistics and industrial ties, so that's why it makes sense to study global business management there. And then in Rome, since we have the hospital, we have healthcare management. So if you studied something related to medicine or related to that area, you don't want to continue with that, you can always shift to the side of healthcare management. And believe me, nowadays, with the current crisis, it's definitely professional figures that are becoming more and more important. In terms of 1 year specializing master instead, as you will see, there's a little bit more specific topics. So we offer corporate communication. Consider that Milano is the capital of PR agencies, advertisement agencies, communication agencies. The program was founded together with Leo Burnett, which is a huge American advertisement company. And every year they organize classes and they also organize workshops in order to select future trainees in their company. We have strategic management for global business, so always with the theme of sustainability and entrepreneurship. We have one executive class of international business, but this is also offered at a regular level. So if you are in your 20s, mid-20s, this is still an option for you to change a little bit of career. We have then political science related subjects, so advanced global studies, cultural diplomacy, for example. Milano is the capital of fashion. You will find luxury goods management, international marketing management. Last but not least, Italy is famous for its wine production, so you will also have the opportunity of getting a little bit deeper in the topic, of course, in Piacenza. Most of our programs consider that they begin in September, and this is so in most of the Italian universities. We usually have one intake per year. Some of our programs have a January intake. So for us, it's the fall intake. The winter intake for you guys would be the summer intake. I'm very jealous of you right now because it's still pretty cold here. And so we have also programs beginning in January. So if you're interested in arts or data science or cooperation or Middle Eastern studies, applications opened recently, and these programs will begin in January 2021. So if you speak Italian, or as I was saying before, you're interested in picking up the language, of course, we would be happy to invite you on our Italian Talk programs. We have over 40 graduate degrees and also undergraduate degrees. We have plenty of masters of 1 year in Italian, and then you can also contact me to know more. To help you understand, Cattolica has 12 schools. So it will be very quick to understand if we offer what you're looking for or not. Since we have 12 schools, it's easier for me what we do not have. You might have already understood. We do not have architecture or engineering or design. So I know these topics are very popular for some Italian universities. They're excellent ones in Italy, so I encourage you anyway to consider Italy as a study destination. Unfortunately, Cattolica won't be your university, but if you're interested in humanities, economics, management, philosophy, languages, political science, viticulture, agriculture, here you can find plenty of programs. Let's talk about money, of course, because this is important, and I've seen here and there some questions about finances. As I was saying before, Cattolica is a private university. So we do charge a tuition fee, but we do also provide you guys with scholarships. So a bachelor degree per year. So we calculate tuition fees yearly. Per year would be €8,000, and a 2-year master degree, €8,500. But at the time you apply, you have the opportunity also to apply for a scholarship. From experience, I can tell you that most of our Brazilian students usually are admitted, and they are admitted with a scholarship. So in case you win the scholarship, you pay only €5,000 per year in case of a bachelor degree, and 5,700 in case of a master degree of 2 years. In case then you confirm your place and you arrive to Italy, for the bachelor degrees and for the master degrees, you can apply to a further scholarship called Educat or Diritto allo Studio. Some of you may already know of this opportunity because it is present in every university in Italy. So even if we are a private university, you can still apply for governmental funding. One important thing, this is not a guarantee because it's very competitive, and you can apply only once you are already enrolled in the university. So let's say that you apply, you win the first scholarship. We're very happy. We're absolutely proud of you. But when you arrive, you can also apply to an additional scholarship. And in that case, you don't pay any tuition fee. And you will also get a little money to help you throughout the year. So these are very important opportunities. Medicine and surgery, here you see it has a little bit more of a cost because you can imagine that accessing laboratories and also the hospital as a higher tuition fee, but in this case as well, the scholarship provided by the government is available. The 1-year specializing masters, they have each one a different cost. They usually vary between 5,000 to 10,000 euros. The governmental scholarship does not apply in this case, okay? Every master has its own scholarship opportunity. Most of them are awarded because of merit. So there we do tell you guys to write a good motivation letter. And also, in case they invite you for a Skype interview, come prepared. So, entry requirements. If you're thinking about applying, what do you need to do? We ask you, as before, as I told you, a minimum of 12 years of education before going to university. So you should have taken the vestibular or a VNM. And if you didn't, do apply and then ask us what you can do to fill the gap. We're expert in that. We'll help you out with that. We're going to see what subjects you studied. As you know, for the 2-year master degree, it's important you come from a similar path. In the 1 year, not so much there. The motivation is definitely more important. And language proficiency. So we do ask you to speak either very good English, because of course, if you study in English, we need you to be proficient. And if you need a visa, the embassy is very likely going to ask you a certificate. Or if you study in Italian, we will ask you, of course, to prove your knowledge of Italian. I know that right now it might be difficult for you to do either an IELTS or a TOEFL. So trying to come closer to you, we decided to accept an online test that you may know. It's called Duolingo. And the minimum score we require is 105. So if you cannot take, understandably, IELTS, TOEFL, or any other tests, my suggestion is apply anyway with what you have, and we will try to counsel you, because we understand that the crisis is impacting everybody, and we still want you guys to have an opportunity to come and study with us. What do you do if you want to apply? You apply online. It's a very easy procedure. Still, my job is to facilitate the procedure. So if you find something to be difficult or not clear, do let me know, and I will help you every step of the way. This is now the moment to apply, especially if you're interested in bachelor degrees. Some programs might close in April, mid of April. We're actually gonna extend our deadlines because of the coronavirus emergency. We do believe that we will recover at least partially in May, June, and hopefully by September. So we do want you to be able to present your application also in the month to come. The 1-year masters are a little bit more flexible in terms of time because they're not so strict when it comes to visa procedures. So especially if you have to ask for a visa, my recommendation, the sooner you apply, the sooner you can apply for a visa, and the sooner we can help you with that. It's not difficult, but that definitely needs patience to deal with the embassy. So do take that into account. And yeah, again, ask for help if you need any. Once you arrive at Cattolica, so I've taken you throughout choosing your university, choosing your city, choosing your program, applying to the program. What happens once you are with us? I can tell you that we try to organize for you the best welcome events as possible, because we truly believe that the first few days are fundamental for you. I know from personal experience how disorientating it can be to be in a different country, speaking a different language. But yeah, we try to support you with that the whole way. So from the very first day. So here you find some of the students who helped us last year. We have an international student center, international students associations who will explain to you from boring administrative stuff until take you out and allow you to explore the city. If you want to learn Italian, we're happy to provide you with a language course or to also provide you with certification opportunities. Of course, we have plenty of libraries. This will come in handy when you will have to study or write your thesis. We have sports facilities, healthcare center. You can't imagine how important this has proved to be in the past few weeks. So consider that having a university that takes care of you from A to Z, it's absolutely fundamental. If not for you, for your parents, believe me, they will want to know. And then we help you find accommodation. Italian universities are very often located in the city center, so it might be difficult to have dorms, but we help you find accommodation in the city, so you can be sure of living a very European experience. So being independent, sharing the flat, maybe with a friend from Brazil or from some other countries that you meet at the beginning of classes. The city of Milan and every other city we've mentioned so far, they are extremely safe. So as long as you use common sense, you will be definitely enjoying walking around, taking the means of transportation. They're absolutely efficient and very convenient because, of course, there are also discounted tariffs for students. And last but not least, it's not indicated here, but we've talked about food quite a lot. So you can make sure that Cattolica has excellent restaurants, and there are also special discounts for students. So we really try to accompany you every step of the way. Last but not least, we've talked about job opportunities, we've talked about services on campus. One thing that makes Cattolica exceptional is all the international connections that we have. This allows you, in case you came to Cattolica and still you don't have enough of internationality, to take a step further. So we have more than 600 international connections. You might have heard of the Erasmus program. So that allows you to go on exchange. And some of these programs may not have an additional cost, but may be included in your tuition fee. So it means that with no additional cost, you will spend a semester in Germany, in China, in Australia, in the US. So anywhere you want to go, you will be able to find something. We also have double degrees opportunities with some of the major American universities, and we also have focus programs abroad. So just make sure to get in touch with our international office to explore all the opportunities, but we have partnerships with Harvard, Columbia, Stanford, major European universities, UK universities. So there's way more that Cattolica can offer you beyond Cattolica itself. And last but not least, there's scholarships for that as well. So we want to support you in that as well. And also internships are offered not just in Italy, but also abroad with a dedicated service in that regards. I think I spoke a lot and I gave you plenty of information. The last thing I want to give you guys, of course, is our contact details. So my name is Ilaria, but you can call me Ila. If you need to write to me, if you want to schedule a Skype because you saw a program and you want to get a little bit deeper into what is it about, how do I apply, I'm happy to talk to you. So just send me an email at international.inquiry@unicat.it, browse our webpage, see our Facebook, our Instagram. And last but not least, I know that you might have plenty of questions related to the virus situation. We worked hard in order to have an FAQ page on the website. So in case you and your parents had questions about how are we managing the crisis at Cattolica, you will find a dedicated webpage on our website. And I think we have 10 minutes left for questions and answers, for which I might ask my hosts to help me and guide me through that.
Correct, Ilaria.
So, Sebas, were you able, or Ana Paula, were you able to find some questions I may be able to answer to?
Yeah, so thank you, Ilaria, for the presentation. And we have several questions here again. Again, for everybody, if you want to set a question, you should write it not on the chat. We will not reply any questions on the chat. We'll reply the questions that you write on the Q&A section here. Also, if you haven't done so yet, please reply to the poll that is next to the Q&As. You can reply there which kind of course you're looking for and when are you looking to begin your studies. So now moving on to some of the questions. I see one interesting here. Many Brazilian students, they can speak some level of Italian. So should they want to study in Italian, how they can prove the proficiency into Italian language?
Okay, thank you, Sebas. That's definitely a very good question. The level we request is an upper intermediate level. So it would be a B2, to give you an idea, close to a C1, especially if you're considering a master program. If you have a double citizenship, so if you don't need a study visa, we will ask you to do a Skype interview. We have an Italian professor, especially at these times, we cannot expect you to sit an exam, so a Skype interview will be sufficient. We also suggest you to keep practice after you have been admitted, because one thing is be able to talk in a daily life. Another thing is to study academically. So the language might be a bit more difficult, but you will improve a lot. So yeah, get some courage and just dive into it, because you will improve terrifically.
Okay. I see another question here from Guilherme that is asking probably a question that also many students have, is about the recognition of the diploma. So he's saying he's interested in a master degree, but worried on the recognition that this certificate, this diploma will have when he goes back to Brazil. Can you explain a little bit about that, Ilaria?
Sure. So I'll go back in the presentation where we talked about the difference among the 2-year and the 1 year. So Sebas, can they see my mouse moving on the slide?
No, they can't.
Okay, so on the left-hand side, the yellow box, it talks about the 2-year master degrees. It's a master degree and it's 120 ECTS. It is recognized everywhere as a master degree. So if you want to have access to a PhD or to have an academic career, or if you're thinking about a profession such as lawyer, doctor, something like this, I would go for a 2-year master degree. If instead you're not thinking about such a career, in Italy, a 1-year specializing master, so the blue box, it's more than enough, because companies do not worry about whether it's a degree or a diploma. I know in Brazil can be different, and I would recommend you to check with the Ministry of Education, because I do know that the 1-year specializing master is something very peculiar of the European universities. So if you have any doubt, better go for a 2-year master degree.
Great. Some questions here from some students are, and I know you spoke a little bit about that, but maybe you can clarify that about scholarships and how, if they would like to apply for a scholarship, how would be the process for that?
Sure. So Cattolica offers 2 kinds of scholarships. The first kind is what we offer during the application procedure. So bachelor degrees, 2-year master degrees, and 1-year specializing masters. When you apply, just tick the option and we will automatically consider you. Some 1-year specializing master may ask you to sit an interview. So they won't be happy just by seeing your motivation, but we would like to talk to you. If you are awarded this kind of scholarship, you will know from the moment you are accepted. So when you get accepted, you will immediately know how much you have to pay. For the 3-year bachelor and for the 2-year master degrees, you can additionally apply to another scholarship called the Right to Study, or Diritto allo Studio. And you can apply for that scholarship in September, once you enroll in the university. In that case, it's not just a motivation. You will also need to provide some financial statement of your family. So that's a little bit more complicated, but I definitely recommend you to try and apply, because if you get it, you are able not to pay any tuition fee at all. So make sure you can survive, because still you will need to pay your living expenses in Milan or generally in Italy. But if you can cut the tuition fees, why not?
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, there is also another question here from David. He wants to know if it's possible to work while he studies.
Thank you. That's absolutely a very good question. So yes, you can work while you study. If you don't have a visa because you have a European passport, you can work as much as you want, of course, within reason. You're there to study, not just to work. If you have a visa, you can work a maximum of 20 hours per week. That would mean a part-time job. My recommendation is that with the 1 year specializing master, it's very hard to work while studying because the program is very intense. So maybe better to put some money aside and then come and enjoy the program fully if it's a 1 year specializing program. Also because it is 7-8 months of classes, and then you have included in the year 3 to 6 months of internship. So you will already start working after very little time. With the 3 year or the 2 year, you're a little bit more flexible in terms of classes, schedule. So yes, you can do so. Maybe pick up a bit of Italian because that will help you to find a job.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ana Paula.
Again, for anybody wanting, I see some people are posting some questions on the chat section. We are only replying those questions on the Q&A, and sorry, we have many questions, so we are just reading out the questions that may be most important for all the people. And I see one question here, but I just want to lead this to you, Ilaria,
Sure.
even though it's not maybe everybody's concern. One student here is asking if she needs to be baptized to study at Cattolica University, and I think you can here explain a little bit of how international Cattolica is.
Thank you. Yes, I think I read that question, and I absolutely understand the point. Cattolica actually does not request you to do that. Actually, we're extremely open-minded, and as I was saying before, we accept every single individual. So our biggest Middle Eastern community is actually of Turkish students, and they are definitely not baptized, most of them, and we have more than 100 nationalities on campus. So if you want to practice your faith and you're Catholic, you will be definitely welcome. But if you are not interested in that, don't worry, it's not a prerequisite.
Nice.
There is also another question here asking if it's possible to learn Italian at Cattolica.
Sure. So yes, we do offer the opportunity. It's not included in the program, not in all the programs. Some programs offer it, not all of them. We're fighting hard to make this included in the program, but we're still fighting a little bit with the ministry. But yeah, you can do so. And you guys, nowadays, even if you do not enroll and pay a class, I think you have endless of opportunities to make friends, do a tandem, get friends with your classmates who are Italian, because you will study among Italians, watch a movie, listen to a song. It's a very easy language for you, so you can pick it up very easily. But if you want to be a little bit more serious and pick up a book and study with a professor, we also provide you with that opportunity.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Again, if anyone has any more questions, you can write them down at the Q&A section, and we'll be replying them. I see one here that is asking if the diploma will be recognized. Ilaria just replied about that. Ana Paula, do you find any other question there? I see one here about accommodation, Ilaria, and there's a student asking if they can have accommodation at the university campus. Can you explain this?
So in Milan, that's a bit of a pickle. It's not that easy because our university is super centrally located. Unfortunately, my camera doesn't allow you to see my banner, but I had a beautiful picture of the Duomo. So we're 10 minutes away from the main cathedral. It means that finding and building dorms right next to the university, it's complicated. We do have some, but we usually reserve them for undergrad students. we still help you to find accommodation. It may not be a dorm, it may be an apartment. And then my suggestion to save money and have more fun is to share the apartment. So have your own room, but share the kitchen, share the living room. You will make friends easier and you will enjoy your life more. And on our webpage, you will find a list of providers. And then once we get in touch, once you apply, I'm happy as well to help you choose the area. Like, Ilaria, I found this apartment in this area. Is it nice? Is it easy to get to Cattolica from this part of Milano? So we are your counselor in that from that point of view. So do not hesitate asking. I also put back the slide regarding the contacts. So if there's any question you don't feel asking publicly and you want to ask me personally or directly, do not hesitate to contact me here.
Okay, perfect, Ilaria. There's one question here from William, but I think this, William, that this will be better if you ask directly, because he's saying he has a European passport, but he applied together with his wife to start in 2020. I assume, William, your wife is Brazilian and she will need a student visa, but does he need a student visa as well with an European passport?
No, if you have a European passport, you do not need a visa. In Italy, most of the universities do not provide a letter of invitation for the spouse. So my suggestion is talk to the embassy, to the Italian embassy in Brazil, as soon as possible, so that they can suggest you what to do with your wife.
Okay. Ana Paula, any other question out there that you would like to mention?
No, I guess that's it, Sebas.
Okay. So we will be closing the webinar here. If you have any other question, you can contact Ilaria at the contact information you can see there. And also this webinar has been recorded and it will be posted to the Student World YouTube page tomorrow. So you can see again this webinar and you can clarify any information you may need.
Thank you so much, Sebas. Thank you so much, guys. And I really hope to see you soon and keep safe in the meantime.
Okay. So thank you very much, Ilaria. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.